BTS is back. There are 7 things the army never saw coming. It has been hotly discussed since the beginning of 2026, following the completion of all BTS members' mandatory military service and preparations for their massive comeback. Based on the latest developments and predictions surrounding BTS's comeback in 2026, here are 7 spectacular things, some of which are discussed as 7 important things about BTS's comeback in 2026 that will most likely be a great surprise for ARMY. Number 7. A new message of toughness for real life. From their debut, BTS established themselves as a voice for youth, refusing to shy away from the gritty, unglamorous realities of growing up. Their message of toughness has rarely been about physical aggression or bravado. Instead, it is deeply rooted in psychological resilience, endurance, and facing systemic pressures head-on. Here is how BTS has continuously evolved their message of real-life toughness throughout their discography. 1. Embracing the pain, On, and Black Swan. Rather than running from hardship or pretending it doesn't exist, BTS advocates for absorbing it. The track, On, serves as a manifesto of mental toughness, with lyrics like Bring the Pain On. It is an acknowledgement that true strength comes from accepting the shadows, the fear, and the struggles, and using them as fuel to keep moving forward. Black Swan tackles a more internal toughness, the fear of losing one's passion and finding the courage to face that artistic mortality. 2. Generational defiance. Not Today and Pepsi. BTS has frequently called out the socio-economic hurdles that young people face in a hyper-competitive world. Pepsi, Silver Spoon. They use the metaphor of a crow tit trying to keep up with a stork to highlight systemic inequality. The toughness here is in the defiance, refusing to accept the blame that older generations place on the youth. Not Today. This is a literal call to arms against despair, with lyrics like, If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. The song frames survival and perseverance as the ultimate acts of rebellion. 3. The Grind and Ambition, Run BTS, and Mic Drop. A recurring theme in their work is the unapologetic celebration of the grueling effort required to succeed. Run BTS reflects on their journey from a nearly bankrupt company to global superstars, emphasizing that their toughness was forged through literal blood, sweat, and tears in the practice room. They don't hide the ugly side of success. They wear their exhaustion as a badge of honor. 4. Vulnerability as the ultimate strength. Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of BTS's message is their redefinition of what it means to be tough. Through the Love Yourself series and the members' solo works, such as RM's Indigo or August D's D-Day, they project that true toughness requires immense vulnerability. Having the courage to look at your flaws, admit your mental health struggles, and choose to love yourself anyway is presented as the hardest, yet most necessary, battle a person can fight. Number 6. A new global record to be broken. Although ARMY is used to seeing BTS break records, the anticipation of this comeback is on a completely different level. With a growing global fan base during their hiatus, BTS is believed to not only return to dominate billboards or streaming platforms, but create a new standard or category of records in the K-pop and Western music industries. You are entirely right to single out the anticipation for this particular comeback. The build-up wasn't just typical comeback hype. It was the culmination of a nearly 6-year wait for a full group studio album following the completion of their mandatory military service. When they finally dropped Erarang in March 2026, they didn't just break their own personal bests. They completely rewrote the global music industry's record books, redefining the global standard. The most shocking element for industry analysts wasn't just the streaming numbers. It was how BTS dominated physical sales, streaming, and stadium touring simultaneously. Usually, artists excel in one or two of those metrics, but very few achieve complete global saturation across all 3. By surpassing legacy acts like the Rolling Stones and Metallica in stadium revenue, BTS proved that their highly mobilized, global fan base is shifting the geographic and cultural center of commercial dominance away from traditional Western pop models. Streaming and broadcast firsts. Partnering with Netflix for BTS, the comeback live Erarang at Gwangwoman Square brought in 18.4 million live viewers, marking the platform's first ever live-streamed concert event and hitting the top 10 in over 80 countries. Chart dominance. Debuting at 1 in more than 25 countries simultaneously, the album proved that the global fanbase didn't just stay intact, it expanded during the hiatus. ARMYs expect shattered records with every release, but watching all 7 reunite on stage after years of individual projects felt less like a standard music promotion and more like a historical victory lap. Number 5. The number of hidden spoilers that the ARMY has just realized. Many fan theories on YouTube debunked that BTS had actually leaked hints of their comeback months earlier. Bigot Music and BTS are absolute masters of the long game when it comes to dropping breadcrumbs. Because their production pipeline is so meticulously planned, they routinely plant visual and narrative clues months, or even years, before a comeback, leaving YouTube theory channels to decode the massive web of spoilers. The recent rollout for their highly anticipated 2026 studio album, Erarang, is a perfect example of how early these hints are seeded and how quickly the ARMY acts as digital detectives to uncover them. The 2026 Erarang spoilers YouTube analysts recently mapped out exactly how early BTS was leaking details about the Erarang era, realizing that many of the cryptic moves made in late 2025 were actually direct spoilers. The Instagram wipe. When BTS completely wiped their shared Instagram account of 12 years of history, leaving only the date, March 20th, 2026, it wasn't just a random Friday. Fans decoded that March 20th marked Chunbon, the spring equinox in the traditional Korean solar calendar, a direct, thematic callback to their legendary track Spring Day. The Red Sun logo. The new comeback logo featured 3 aligned red circles with Hangul-like patterns. Fans on YouTube quickly analyzed the geometry and color theory, predicting the Red Sun motif long before the album's concept photos were officially revealed. The late 2025 letters. A series of mysterious handwritten letters sent to the fandom in late 2025 were filled with cryptic dates and symbols. Once the Erarang tracklist dropped, fans realized the letters contained direct lyrical spoilers for the new songs. Guerrilla installations. Big Hit secretly secured the main staircase of the Sejong Center in Seoul to place a massive, unannounced comeback symbol, turning a cultural landmark into a physical Easter egg hunt overnight. The World Cup, normal, Easter eggs. This level of detail extends directly into their music videos. Just weeks ahead of BTS co-headlining the FIFA World Cup 2026 final halftime show in July, they dropped the music video for their track, Normal. Within hours, YouTube pop culture and theory channels were posting deep dive videos breaking down the background graffiti, wardrobe choices, and choreography formations in the video, proving that Bigot never lets a single frame go to waste. By planting these hidden details, Bigot transforms a standard album rollout into a massive, interactive puzzle that keeps the fandom engaged long before the music actually drops. Number 4. Advanced choreography and production quality. Bigot Music is known for its fantastic production budgets. For this 2026 comeback, visual quality, MV details, and musical arrangements have been prepared in advance. The members are rumored to perform choreography and appearance styles, hair, makeup, wardrobe, that are really fresh, and even had a leak of suit concept theory or documentary era among fans that had never been released before. It is absolutely true. Bigot Music has set a formidable benchmark in the K-pop industry when it comes to high-budget production and intricate choreography. What started as a relatively small company has transformed into an industry titan, largely due to their massive investments in the visual and performance aspects of their artists. 1. Cinematic production quality. Bigot is famous for treating music videos and comeback trailers like big-budget short films, elaborate sets, and CGI. Rather than relying solely on standard green screens, they often build massive, intricate physical sets for music videos and concert tours. When CGI is used, it is typically seamless and highly stylized, storytelling and lore. The production budget isn't just for flash. It serves the overarching narratives, or lore, of their groups. The BTS universe, BU, and TXT's The Star Seeker storylines are heavily supported by cinematic concept trailers, short films, and visually stunning music videos that require massive capital to execute. In-house content teams. Bigot heavily invests in internal visual creative teams that handle movies, documentaries, and performance designs. This allows for a massive output of high-quality, heavily edited content ranging from concert DVDs to reality shows. 2. Narrative-driven choreography in the K-pop industry. Intense choreography is a given, but bigot groups are heavily recognized for their synchronization and storytelling. Performance directors. Bigot heavily utilizes in-house performance directors like Sun Sung-duk, who has been instrumental in crafting BTS's iconic routines. They focus on dances that are not just technically demanding, but that visually represent the lyrics and themes of the song. High intensity. Groups like BTS and Tomorrow X Together, TXT, are expected to deliver incredibly stamina-draining routines, often incorporating acrobatics, prop work, and massive backup dancer ensembles to create a grand spectacle on stage. 3. Live stage spectacles. When bigot groups go on tour or perform at year-end award shows, the company spares no expense. Their stages often feature massive props, highly advanced lighting and laser arrays, hydraulic lifts, and intricate transition stages that elevate a standard concert into an immersive theatrical experience. BY consistently throwing top-tier budgets at their production and performance design. Bigot Music has managed to craft strong individual identities for their artists while delivering the larger-than-life spectacles that global audiences expect. Number 3. Unprecedented scale of the World Tour. Arirang World Tour. BTS's comeback is always accompanied by a tour. However, the post-conscription World Tour, as widely discussed as the Arirang World Tour in 2026, reportedly had a stage concept, set list, and cinematic grandeur that went beyond the Love Yourself tour with a map of the song. Live interaction and emotional outbursts after a long separation are guaranteed to give the audience an improvement. His central layout completely changes the choreography and visual presentation. By removing the backstage wall, fans surround the members from all sides, creating an intensely immersive stadium-wide reality. The lighting rigs and visual screens are suspended above, allowing the group to execute their spectacular, gritty new choreography without visual obstruction. Record-breaking scale. The logistics of the tour are staggering. Running from April 2026 through March 2027, the tour spans 88 dates across 34 cities in 23 countries. Global footprint. They are hitting stadiums across 5 continents: Asia, North America, South America, Europe, and Oceania. Economic impact. Industry analysts project that the sheer dominance of these stadium shows could push the comeback tour's earnings past the $1 billion mark, placing them in the elite tier of modern touring acts globally. Local highlight. For fans right here in Indonesia, the tour is making a massive stop at the Gelora Bung Karno (GBK) main stadium in Jakarta for 3 sold-out nights on December 26, 27, and 29, 2026. Number 2. A much more mature and reflective musical concept. Through individual life experiences during the military and solo careers, BTS is predicted to bring much deeper genres, lyrics, and musical concepts. If earlier they raised a lot of youth themes, now their songs will shift to the theme of maturity, the realities of life, as well as the meaning of togetherness with the perspective of an adult man. You hit the nail on the head. That prediction turned out to be incredibly accurate. With the release of Arirang in March 2026, BTS proved that their time apart didn't stall their momentum. It deepened their artistry. The transition from their youth-focused narratives to the reflections of grown men is the defining characteristic of this new era. Here is how those life experiences shaped their mature comeback. Evolution through solo eras. Instead of rushing back to their old formula, the group leveraged the growth they experienced during Chapter 2. JHope noted that their solo endeavors allowed each member to refine their unique identities, bringing fresh perspectives back to the group. The songwriting process for Arirang was much more collaborative and experimental, with members taking the lead on different tracks to break away from their previous molds, a process they described as liberating and free. A darker, more mature sound musically, the group explored deeper, grittier genres. Working with producers like Diplo on tracks such as Body to Body and Into the Sun, The early sonic references for the album were rooted in trip-hop and old-school hip-hop. The overarching production goal was intentionally designed to let the members tell their stories as grown men, focusing heavily on evolution, depth, and a broader worldview. Thematic depth. Han and the meaning of time, the album's conceptual core is incredibly profound. By sampling the 600-year-old traditional banjo-erarang folk song, BTS tapped into the Korean concept of Han, a complex emotion of deep sorrow, resilience, and longing. For the group, this translated directly into their intense longing for their fans and their art while serving in the military. This philosophical depth was heavily highlighted by RM during the album's creation. He beautifully contrasted their life in the military with their return to music using ancient Greek concepts of time. Chronos, the repetitive, monotonous time they experienced during their 550 days of intense military training, where days simply passed by. Kairos, the deeply meaningful, stretching time they felt when reuniting in the studio as a second family, fully grasping the impermanence and preciousness of their moments together. Their return wasn't just a pop culture event. It was a deeply reflective artistic statement about enduring isolation and finding their way back to their true passion. Number 1. Return of Complete Formation, OT7, after a long time. After years of focusing on solo projects, Chapter 2, and alternating military duty, BTS is finally back with a full 7 members. RM had leaked in the broadcast that the 7 of them were back together to finalize a full album that reflected the thoughts and growth of each member during the group's hiatus. This whole chemistry is the most missed and has not been seen again officially by the ARMY in recent years. The long-awaited reunion of all 7 BTS members, OT7, RM, Jin, SUGA, JHope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, is one of the most anticipated moments in pop music history. Key milestones in the OT7 comeback timeline: June 2025, military service completion. Following Jin, June 2024, and JHope, October 2024, the remaining 5 members officially concluded their mandatory military enlistment throughout June 2025, culminating with SUGA's discharge. Mid-2025, the first full live. Shortly after completing their duties, all 7 members hosted their first joint Weverse livestream since 2022 to confirm their group comeback plans and thank ARMY for waiting. Spring 2026, comeback album. Erarang, Big Hit Music, and HYB officially launched the group's highly anticipated comeback album, marking their first joint studio album after their hiatus. 2026 to 2027, Erarang World Tour. Accompanying the album, BTS kicked off their massive 360-degree stadium tour, spanning over 80-plus dates globally. In short, the return of BTS is not just a music release, but the opening of the 3rd chapter of their career, where BTS and ARMY will begin a phase of maturation along with various new histories that will soon be revealed.